Thank you and welcome everyone. Again, I am grateful for the opportunity to make this presentation about Central State University Extension. One of the things that, given that this is a Black Farmer Conference, I want to ask the audience or mention to the audience that farming is more than growing and selling things, although those are the two perhaps the most important things associated with farming. Farming is also about developing a business, managing a business, financing a business. In addition to that, there are personal and family issues that are associated with farming. And also, African-American children, they need to know about their farming heritage, and they also need to learn about modern farming techniques. So in all of these things, Central State University Extension Service can help. So the Central State University Extension Service is part of our 1890 land grant program. Given that we are an 1890 land grant program, our focus is really working with communities of poverty, and that covers socially disadvantaged individuals. That also covers Caucasians, so all races, all genders, all circumstances, but the focus is on communities of poverty. In fact, based on the poverty map of Ohio, we are addressing about 65% of the counties in our state that have significant poverty issues. Our programs in our extension service are basically divided into four groups: agriculture and natural resources. Well, that's pretty obvious. That's about talking about agriculture and the different aspects of it. Community and economic development really has to do with building businesses, building communities, learning how to develop cooperative linkages within communities. This is really, this is just as important to a farmer as growing crops, okay? Because if you do not have the community connections, it's going to make it really, really tough to sell the product and earn the money. 4-H and youth development, it is about programming for young people. And this is not only just programming to teach people about agriculture, teach the youth about agriculture, but really to prepare them for science and technology and also agricultural industries, help them understand what kind of opportunities that they are going to have, both as perhaps also as individual farmers, but also working in labs or becoming a scientist or becoming a medical person, becoming an engineer. All of these things are part of 4-H and youth development. And then finally, Family and Consumer Sciences and the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, or FNEP. These areas focus on developing the individual, okay? How can you get the proper nutrition on a budget? How can you run the family on a budget? How can you manage stress? I mean, are farmers prone to stress? Of course they are, you know. There are so many problems that they face, so many risks that they face, that just because their crop is growing well today, it may not do well next month, okay? So how to cope with stress, how to manage your family, how to manage your finances, those are all part of Family and Consumer Sciences. So one of the things that I want to focus in this slide is talk a little bit about small and limited resource farms. That is really the target clientele in our agriculture and natural resource program. The USDA definition of a small farm is that the annual gross returns has to be less than $250,000, okay? And limited resource farm, against the USDA says that the annual gross returns, and that gross returns basically means that the money that you get from sales without subtracting any of your expenses, that your annual gross returns will be about $180,300, okay? So you see that based on the USDA definition, there is a lot of farms in Ohio that automatically become our clients, being in both rural and urban areas. So our current A&R programs really are focusing on more of the plant side of things than the animal side of stuff. So we have programs related to produce, vegetables and fruits. I think you guys are familiar with the aquaponics. I believe there was an aquaponics tour yesterday as part of this conference. So that's one of the things that we are interested. Hemp is, we have a hemp researcher on board, Dr. Schlettenhofer. We hope to increase our hemp offerings in future to look not only on the production side, but how to sell hemp, how to develop products from hemp, how to develop the supply side of the hemp industry in our state. Then we have, and we will be developing this with our new educators, teaching people about crop insurance programs, okay? You know, I have been working in the area of small-scale agriculture probably for 25 to 30 years. Not in Ohio. I have been in the South for the most part, and I'm surprised to see how few farmers, many of them are African American, there are many Caucasian farmers too, that do not understand the crop insurance programs. And they think crop insurance is only for the big guys, the big soybean and corn producers, the big cattle ranchers. That's crop insurance is only for them. That is not so, okay? That is absolutely not so. And so we would be able to teach farmers about crop insurance services or crop insurance products that are beneficial to them, and also provide technical assistance, how to apply for these programs. That's something we would also help them do. In future, if there is interest in these topics, I would like to develop the hydroponics and greenhouse and high tunnel intensive production area. That is a personal interest of mine. And the reason that I have a personal interest in there is because when I used to work in Kentucky, I saw how many Amish and Mennonite farmers were being successful in producing, using greenhouse production of tomatoes, of bell peppers, cucumbers. They're getting amazing yields. I don't want to mention those yields to the public right now because I'll get you guys too excited. I don't want to get you guys too excited, but those yields are really, really amazing, okay? But these crops would require very, very careful management. And so this is an area I want to do. I believe that some of our small farms, even urban farms or small rural farms, can really benefit from greenhouse hydroponic production. Agroforestry is definitely on our radar screen. We have a presence in Southeast Ohio where there is a lot of forested land. We're looking at how to manage the forest, how to manage the natural resources there, manage things like oak trees that have been harmed over the years, how to bring back the oak tree population, how to develop industries there using the forest resources, and so on and so forth. In future, we may look at organic animal husbandry. Okay, that might be a possibility. And then there are other A&R programs that we want you guys to tell us the things that you guys would like for us to do, things that you have an interest in developing. We would definitely discuss those things and try to include that in our annual plan of work. So every year in our extension service, we have a plan of work that we develop in collaboration with our research service. And we are always wanting input from our stakeholders, from our farmers, from the members of the community in what kind of research and what kind of outreach programs that you guys would like for us to do. So please keep that in mind and feel free to send us emails. Feel free to share your thoughts with us. Community and economic development is another area of Central State Extension Service that is really a major part of becoming a successful farmer, okay? So this on the farming side, community and economic development look at business startups, how to start up a business, how to finance a business, how to, what kind of business structure do you need? But the area where I like to take community and economic development is developing something called a business incubator boot camp. And in a business incubator boot camp is a situation, pardon me, it's in a situation where people who are unfamiliar with the business side of agriculture to get the training, then the hands-on training and technical assistance necessary to register their business, to register their farm, to learn how to manage money, learn how to finance their business, and how to do cash flow management, figure out what pricing structure they need for their products, things like that. So all of those would be part of the business incubator boot camp, which is going to be part of our community and economic development. So another aspect of community and economic development that you guys might be interested in is that we would be providing training and technical assistance on disaster assistance, federal programs by FEMA and other federal agencies. So if there is a disaster and you lose your crop or you lose your home, how would you rebuild your life? What programs are available for you to get money, how to apply, and we will have people in place who would be able to help you with the application forms, would be able to help you collect the background information necessary to send with the application form. The same thing for USDA and state programs. So USDA, Farm Service Agency, Rural Development, NRCS, they have these programs. Many of them are for beginning farmers. Many of them are for socially disadvantaged and military veteran farmers. But in my travelings in the farming community, I find so many people are unaware of these programs and how they can take advantage of them. Pardon me. Here again, we as an extension service can help people learn, be able to tell them about these programs. What are the eligibility requirements? How much money can they get? Not all of these are loan programs. Some of them are grant programs. Some of them are cost share programs. Then if they get an award, how would they manage their award? What kind of reporting they have to do back to the USDA? Those are the things that we are also going to provide technical assistance to our Black farmers and our other clients throughout the state. Then the third area that I would like to develop is, and we're already working on developing this, is community leadership and conflict resolution. Okay, so I mentioned this before, and some people maybe they got upset at me saying this thing, but the thing is that I have noticed in working with agriculture that farmers tend to have difficulty in sometimes working together. Okay, some farmers are really good at that. Some farmers are not very good at that. But if they're able to work together, if we can organize a group of farmers to collaboratively buy things or collaboratively sell things, that is going to be a significant advantage to them. So one of the difficulties farmers face is what happens if there's misunderstandings or conflicts in their agreements, and then they sometimes that is a roadblock to them. And so what our extension service can do is give them these conflict resolution skills where they can work through their conflicts and continue to develop partnerships one with another and with other agencies. The 4-H and Youth Development Program, this is focusing on 3 areas for the youth, and that one is healthy living. This is about exercise, about nutrition, And then the citizenship and community engagement. So this is learning about the nation, about how the nation's governments work, how the government is structured. And then the third area is Ag STEM, okay? And STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So here, the children get to participate in a wide variety of educational programs. For example, one of the things that we are doing in Ohio right now are tower gardens for kids. And these are hydroponic gardens where they're able to grow different types of greens. We can expand that into aquaponics, for example. We have an aquaponics program. We can use the Ag STEM and we can get kids involved in youth entrepreneurship. And that is an area that I want to take 4-H and youth development to go in the future. And that is something our 4-H program leader, Dr. Prosper Dwamapur, he's already trying to do some of those things. We also have these annual summer camps here on campus at Central State University that if you have youth in your life that you want them to go to some of these summer camps. For very young kids, we have the Discovery Day Camp. And given that it's a day camp, these children, they are not going to spend the evenings here. They come during the day and they return to their homes at the end of the day. But the Seed to Bloom residential camp, that is where they will learn a little bit more about plant life, about gardening, and a variety of other issues. And this is a residential camp on campus at Central State University. And then there is the Research and Extension Apprenticeship Program, REAP. We see the REAP programs, many of the 1890 land grants have REAP programs, and they are really, they're for older children, high school age children, and they're really focused on giving them a taste of research and extension. They need to, we have professors and researchers on board. We have extension program leaders who are going to take these children under their wing, show them what kind of research project they're working on, help bring them to their labs, or take them to the field and show the kind of crops they're growing. The children have to develop a presentation of the experience they have at the end of the REAP program, which is during the summer, and also learn about, maybe even write a paper or write a report from that. And we find that the REAP program is really good. We have many African-American youth that are involved in this, and a high percentage of those youth, after they finish high school, end up going to college, end up getting higher education, who are graduates of the REAP program. So in future, in our 4-H programs, we would like to have a stronger emphasis on youth entrepreneurship. We would like to organize the youth so that they can, if they're interested in farming, they can have market or commercial gardens. They can sell their products. They can sell it, say, I'll just throw an example. In a school situation, we can develop a farmer's market on the school where adults from the school or adults from the neighborhood can come and buy the things that the youth have grown. The youth will learn how to manage the money. They would learn how to reinvest some of the money to farming. They can take some of the money for themselves. They can use the money to go on a trip, on a special field trip, or have a special party or something like that. So youth entrepreneurship is something that is really important to me and also important to our 4-H program leader. And then we have the drone technology, that's something coming up. Drone technology, remote sensing, precision agriculture. These are some of the new areas in agriculture that is being used in the United States. And we want the children to be exposed to that. They want to learn more about that, so they can kind of broaden their horizons, so they can take some of these areas and make careers in future. Then the fourth program we have is perhaps one of the most important programs, and this is really helps the citizens of Ohio as well as the farming community, this Family and Consumer Science and FNEP. And these programs are primarily designed for individuals and families. Some of the current programs is called Diabetes Empowerment Education Program. It's called, it is basically helping people understand about diabetes. A lot of African Americans are prone to diabetes. I'm diabetic. I need to learn about not only avoiding sugar, but also what are some of the good things that I can eat, how I can control my diabetes without having to take all kinds of medications. And that's what the DEEP program is about. We have adult programs, introduction of computers, help older adults learn about computers. Hopefully we'll teach them about things like introduce them to smartphones, apps, things like that. We have programs for youth about when the older youth, when they're done with high school, they're going off to college or they're going to move away from home. Some of the skills, the life skills they need to live on their own. What should they expect? You know, how to get a job, pay the bills in a timely manner, things like that. And there's youth nutrition. Sugar Shockers is the youth nutrition program, basically talking to them about some of the dangers associated with eating too much sugar. In the U.S. society, there is a lot of sugar floating around. It really hurts our health, and how to, you know, constructive ways of avoiding instead of drinking a Coke, you know, how to simply make a shake, something like that, that has less sugar and more nutrition in there. So some of those things are in there. So these are family programs that we have currently. Eat Smart, Live Strong is a nutrition education. Also does cooking demonstrations. We are trying to buy a mobile kitchen. I'm hoping that in the next few months, we would be able to have a mobile kitchen that we can take all over, through all the counties and the cities that we're going to be operating. We're going to teach people how to eat healthy on a budget. Okay? Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. How to make vegetables taste good, how to cook with vegetables and make it taste good. Then we have the Healthy Happy Hour for single parents. This is a really neat program because this is a place where single parents and their children have a time to connect. They have a time to let go of the stress that they have in their lives. To be able to also learn about nutrition. And then we have the community market and mobile food pantry. So this is where we have a lot of donated foods on Central State University campus that we make it available for free to anyone who wants to take advantage of it. If you want some free food, and I have been to a few of them. I have seen a lot of produce, breads, and baked goods. I don't think there's much meat, but I could be wrong about that, about the meat. But if you want to get some free food, or if you know people who are struggling with food and they need some help, get them to contact us, and we can tell them when to come here, when the food pantry is going to be available, and they can get some food over here. The other program we have is called Money Smarts. This is also a really important program, and it's very, very practical for families as well as for farming families, okay? For farmers, how to manage your finances, how to plan for the future, how to manage a cash flow, how to manage a checkbook, things like that is part of our program offering. In future, we have plans in expanding our health program significantly. One of the things that we want to do is teach people about how to build up their bodies, how to build a resiliency in their bodies through diet and exercise, eating different things, doing different types of exercises, so they would be better able to resist some of these diseases that we are being burdened with. You know, COVID-19 is an example. There's several other diseases that if we have a stronger system, we would be able to able to resist some of these illnesses. We're going to have specialty programs for pregnant women, newborns, toddlers, and parents. Okay, you know that particularly for single moms, having a child is both a time for joy and also a time for stress. Okay, so we would have educators, we would have other professionals who would be able to meet with people who are having newborns and teach them about health issues, about management issues, about stress issues, about how to cope with crying babies, how to be a safe and a good babysitter. Okay, so those are some of the things that we're going to be doing in future. Then there'll be programs for senior citizens. We'll be going into nursing homes. We'll be meeting with senior citizens and other senior citizen groups, and we'll have programs specifically for them and for their needs. Programs for addiction prevention. Addiction. An opioid is just one form of addictions. There are so many forms of addictions that wreck lives, and that's one of our priorities through the USDA is to have specific programs to help people be aware of addictions and how it can hurt them, and how to recognize that they're getting addicted, and how to put on their brake pedals and stop it, change their course, or if you have someone who's addicted, and how to give them the help that they need to overcome some of those terrible things that they are going through. Okay, and then there are programs, specific programs for mental health care, dealing with stress, dealing with depression, and other mental health issues, and these are, depression. I mentioned depression just because this is a farmer conference. Okay, can farmers get depressed? You bet. I mean, that is a big problem with agriculture in the United States right now, is the depression that many farmers go through and the stress that they go through. And so these programs will be very, very relevant for farmers. So let's talk very briefly about Central State University expansion throughout the state of Ohio. So in 2019, we were operating in only 8 counties, okay? These counties were pretty much Cincinnati to Columbus. If you draw a line from Cincinnati to Columbus and kind of tweak that line so it goes through Dayton, pretty much that band of counties is what we were operating. Okay, we had 3 satellite sites, one in Xenia, one in Trotwood, and one in Dayton. But look what we did in 2020. Now we are operating in 55 counties, 63% of the state. So this is quite a change, okay? We have 22 new educators. We have 4 regional offices going up. The Southwest offices and these offices are all part of community colleges. So Edison State Community College in Preble County, that is where our Southwest office is located. Southeast office is with Hawking College. Stark State is in Northeast, and our Northeast offices are with them. And we are negotiating contract with Northwest Community College, which is about 50 miles west of Toledo, for our Northwest offices. We have hired all our regional associates. So these are like regional directors. So they would be managing their regions, and we have the educators that would be going around and teaching them. We have 6 program assistants in FNEP and in 4-H. So yeah, this is a real big deal, and we are adding more resources. I talked about mobile kitchen. We may even get a mobile medical bus where we can have people come to us. We can travel. We can actually go to communities where they need some of these medical healthcare programming and be able to deliver them. You know, it'll be nice if we can get a mobile classroom. So some of these communities, we may not be able to have an area for people to gather together to have discussions. And a nice mobile classroom would be pretty cool. So we're kind of working towards those goals. We're not there yet, but hopefully by the end of this year or beginning of next year, we can do some of those things. So here is a map that looks at all of our regions. Our Northwest region, I think there are about 7 counties there. The Northeast has 13 counties. And there's like about 16 or 17 counties in each of the Southwest and Southeast regions. These are some of the bigger regions that we are in. Let's talk a little bit now about how Central State University Extension can help African American farmers, okay? I want to let you know that I have been working with African American farmers for a very long time, and not in Ohio. Like I said, mostly in the South for about 20 years in Kentucky. We're also in Arkansas and other places. And so I have developed an understanding and interest and a desire to work and help African-American farmers, and we're going to do that. And some of the things that we're going to do is provide hands-on training. So we're going to, so this is not just, this is not like what you would think in a traditional classroom, a professor lecturing at students. No, we're not going to do that, okay? We're going to connect with people. We're going to show them how to do different things based on what they need, what their educational needs are. So some of the things we're going to show them is on production technical assistance, you know, how to do integrated pest management, okay? How to scout for pests in a field of crops, labor-saving methods of agriculture. Okay, you know that's one of the big problems that a lot of black farmers and other white farmers also face. That is because if they have a fairly small farm, they do not have the ability to have hired labor, okay? If they start hiring people, a lot of their profits are going to go to paying those people. So we have to come up with ways to save labor. And that's one of the things that we would be teaching. Small plot intensive farms. Our program leader, Dr. Cindy Folk, I think many of you have met her yesterday. She is working on getting some grant money to develop some intensive incubator farms where we can invite people, prospective farmers, beginning farmers, to come and learn the skills of farming, learn various different things, soil quality, how the benefits of doing the raised beds, then using, benefits of mulch, then plant diseases, plant pest issues, harvesting, post-harvest handling. Then we have GAP certification, which is Good Agricultural Practices. And then Food Safety Modernization Act. Food Safety Modernization Act is a new thing that's coming up for farmers who are trying to sell things wholesale, or they have to have a way to track the produce that they're selling. Okay, they have to. It's almost like in the old days when you were selling meat, and if you're selling, say, processed fish through the FDA, you have to have a way to track. You have to have a way to track the fish, when it was harvested, when it was processed and packaged and sold. Food Safety Modernization Act is going to do something similar for medium to large scale vegetable and fruit farmers, okay? So those are some of the things that we're going to discuss with people. And as with some of these federal programs, there is a way to go get around it, okay? So if you don't want to do FSMA, then you have to be able to sell your produce directly to the consumer, so you have direct markets, and you may have to operate, you may have a threshold amount of money that you have to operate below that threshold. So some of those things we're going to talk about.
Dr. Dasgupta, excuse me, sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to check the time with you. It's about 3:46. Can we plan to go to 3:55, since I know we needed a little more time? But there's a question that I think you might be able to incorporate into your presentation. It was, are you working with other nonprofits or organizations to provide these varied services? And then if we can leave a few minutes for a couple other questions that might come up toward the end. The next session, the final session, the roundtable begins at 4. So if you do have a question, please put it in the chat using the chat box at the bottom of your screen.
Yes, so that's a great question about working with nonprofits. Absolutely, that's one of the things that we do, just because it makes it much more convenient for us to be able to bring our programs to a large number of people, okay? Otherwise, we have to go and individually find people, recruit people, which is, we can do that, but it's very time consuming. But we are working with various nonprofits. One of the founding members of this conference, the Agraria Community Solutions, that's one of our main collaborators, collaborating with Ms. Jennings. She's a wonderful person. She has this farm in Agraria in Yellow Springs, and we are trying to come up with ways where we can bring some of those programming at her farm, and she would be able to advertise for us and bring people, gather people at her place where they can take advantage of some of the education and other resources we have. Dr. Cindy Folk, she is working with some nonprofits in Dayton as well as in Trotwood. She has just submitted a capacity building grant to develop some incubator farms over there. I wish her well. Hopefully it'll get funded. Then we are working we're trying to work with a group up in Cleveland. These are African-American farmers over there, trying to help them, give them the assistance and the training that they need to succeed. That also is a nonprofit organization. We are establishing new connections with groups in Toledo. Just befriended someone who is an African-American farmer, has a group of farmers operating in Michigan and also in Ohio. So hopefully we would be able to work with them. I also have connections with nonprofits that serve refugees in Ohio, to be able to see how we can bring our programming to them, even if it needs translation services, translate to some of the languages that they're familiar with. So yes, the answer is yes. We work with several nonprofits. We encourage nonprofits to reach out to us, or else we're going to reach out to you and see how we can cooperate with you. We can write cooperative grants together and help fund some of the programs that the nonprofits already have. We can add to their programming, things like that.
And that gets to, there's two other questions that I think kind of go together. One is, do you have to be based in the Central State area or Ohio to take part in these programs? And then the second one is your funding for all these programs secure? Can you get additional funding for expansion?
Okay, thank you. So typically, in land-grant extension, we typically work within our state, okay? So if we have someone in Wisconsin who wants our help, we would probably work with the land-grant institution in Wisconsin and then cooperatively give them help instead of us butting in on their territory. Okay, we're not going to do that. So keeping things within the state is what we're going to primarily do as much as possible. But one of my slides, I was showing you that we are covering right now 65% of the counties in Ohio. So no, absolutely not. You don't have to be around Wilberforce or Dayton to be able to work with us. If you're in Cleveland, if you are in a county in Southeast Ohio, an Appalachian County, over there, you live in the boonies, call us. We would be able to work with you. We have a list of counties which are our service areas. We'll be able to show it to you. And if we cannot help you, we will find help. We work collaboratively with OSU Extension Service. They are all over the state too. So we are not competitors, we're collaborators. If we cannot help, we will find help for you. As far as the funding thing goes, typically what we do, we do not give our funding is secure as far as taking care of the needs of our extension service. However, if a nonprofit, for example, needs some funding to be able to start a farm school, to be able to say buy some land or buy pay for their operating expenses or pay for a farm manager, and if they approach us with something like that, we would work with them. We can either help them get funding through state and federal agencies, or we can do collaborative grants with them. And when the grant comes in, they would have their own sub-award budget, and we would be able to transfer money to them. I've done that many years, for many years in other states, and we can do that in Ohio as well.
Thank you. So we've got about 3 minutes if you have other parts of your presentation or if there are other questions.
So I'm going to end with my last slide. So this slide is for people who are interested in farming but not really sure of what to do. So how can we help to get you started in farming? So one of the things we can do is we can help you find land access, okay? We can work with the different land banks, or we can work with people, nonprofits that have land, farmland available. We can help you get leases through them. We can help you get, although we cannot give you money to buy land, we can help you obtain money to buy land through federal land ownership loans. We can also do the same thing with production. Through grant programs, we can help you pay for operating expenses. We can help you with marketing through, USDA AMS, their local food promotional program, farmers market promotional program. They are eager to work with African American farmers. Okay, I used to be a technical assistant for the USDA AMS, where I went to a group of farmers and I told them about the agricultural marketing services programs to them. Okay, many of them had no idea of what's out there, and the USDA, they want African American farmers to be established, to be developed, to be successful, and we can help you guys develop some of these proposals so that you can get money to improve your marketing abilities, okay? Then we can also help you with farm business development and business management, education program, working with SBC, working with different federal agencies, help you understand how to do business taxes, how to do a payroll, how to do payroll taxes, withholding, all of those things that sometimes farmers, or even if you're starting an agricultural business, such as running a grocery store or running a meat processing plant, or making jams and jellies from your home and selling that, you would need those business skills, and those are the things that we can do to help. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much. And so, Dr. Dasgupta, we really appreciate it. And I just want to repeat that the recording for this presentation will be on the YouTube channel for Community Solutions. So you'll be able to see the slides there as well. And so if you weren't here at the beginning, you'll be able to see that. That will be up very soon. Everybody who registered for the conference will get an email when that's up. Our next final session is beginning in a few minutes at 4 o'clock, and it's a roundtable where we'll be discussing, the conference planning committee members will be discussing where do we go from here and answering any questions you might have there. So thank you all so much for coming, and Dr. Dasgupta, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Take care.